and the State Minister of Animal Resources, Fisheries and Tourism, our development partners, especially friends from FAO, World Bank, World Health Organization, and other development partners, and the secretaries of the Ministry of Health and Livestock, private sectors, media houses present here, and the giant which is having this occasion, that is the Association of Veterinary Doctors Council. Good morning or good afternoon, everybody. I'm really very pleased and honored to stand in front of you to celebrate this colorful occasion. It's not the first time to have it, but the last 2 years we celebrated. And before I could forget, I will accept the proposal of the County Director of World Health Organization for rotation of this occasion. And since this year is in Central Equatoria, next year will be in Baragazal. Wow. And then this is what we have to admit. You know, on the 28th of September every year is dedicated for commemoration of the life of Louis Pasteur, the French scientist who discovered the rabies vaccine. We hope our scientists will discover and then we'll remember all the time, because it is our duty to use our mind to discover things, in fact, as scientists. With the ultimate prize over his life, it is an event celebrated worldwide to create awareness of dangers of rabies in the human society. South Sudan, being a member state of the United Nations fraternity, is supposed to join the rest of the world in marking this occasion, or this important occasion. This year's celebration is unique, and the theme is One Health, Zero Death, and it is attractive and also brings us all together. That is the Minister of Livestock and Fisheries, we have the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, the Minister of Health, the Minister of Environment, the Minister of Wildlife Conservation, our development partners, FAO, World Health Organization, UNESCO, and the rest of our development partners. We have to come together to cooperate and collaborate to achieve the One Health approach so that we get rid of this zoonotic disease. Because without coming together, I think it will be difficult, as mentioned by some of you before, for one section to do this work. Now, how do we manage this? We manage this by the management or by managing the animal diseases. And we need this to stop it. There are things which we need to do. First, we need the capacity building of our young cases and even our community. Two, creating awareness among our community. And three, facilitation of facilities for diagnosing such diseases. We need good modern laboratories which will help us try to diagnose these things. And also, there is a need really for us to have mobile clinic because you know South Sudan at the present moment, when it is rainy season like this, everything will stop because of lack of good infrastructure. But if we have mobile clinic, then we'll be able to move around the whole of our country so that we are able to vaccinate. Because by vaccination, this is where we can stop these killing diseases. Commemoration of this day is of great significance in South Sudan, owing to the incidence of rabies outbreaks with the loss of human lives due to poor management, as I said before, and lack of awareness about the disease itself, especially among the rural population, and also the poor reporting on the disease. It means it is mainly the cause of the death of human beings, and in animals, and in all. It is known as the neglect disease and affects the poor people in Africa. If we elaborate on it using our own context, you can see dogs are not valued in terms of feeding in our country. That's why we have a lot of dogs roaming on the street. Health-wise, most of our South Sudanese citizens are not taking care of the dogs, or even most majority of them are not bringing them for vaccination because they don't know the danger of disease caused by the dogs. And animals in general, as a result of that, you can see the dogs are looking for themselves food, and you can call our dogs are half owned and disowned, and by the end of the day, we call them stray dogs in this world of ours. So what we really need actually is we appreciate the association, and we need this association to be strong so that they will help the ministry do its business. And the thing we are aiming at now is we are trying our level best with GADA, and we managed to take the bill of the Council of the General Council of Veterinary Council to the Ministry of Justice now. But it is now being delayed in Ministry of Justice. So when it comes, will come to the Council of Ministers, and will go to the Council of Ministers it will go to our Parliament for approval, and then assent by the President. Because what we need is a strong council. The work of the council is to look after its own people first, and then it has to help the government next. Because as you mentioned before about the youth who are there unemployed, actually there are many of them, but they cannot stay, because when you are educated, you need to be creative also. You need to create what you can do. Because when you use university standard, then it is you use your mind now. You don't need to be employed by anybody, but you can even create work by yourself. So it is very important. And most of us, or most of the youth, are not able to come to the government. I think people who work in the government are the people who volunteered and gave themselves to work without anything. Because as you start work in the ministry now, I think this money given to you by the ministry will not match with your transport to the ministry every day. That's why most of our people, they don't want to work in the ministry. We have positions, but it is difficult for them to come and work in a place where you are not going to sustain yourself. So these are some of the difficulties. We look forward when the government rearrange or try to improve the salaries of the working people. I think most of the people will now rush to work with the government, because most of the people look at the government as the only employing factor, because we don't have private sector. But we need to encourage the private sector to try to do more in order to accommodate our youth who are now finishing in the universities, because the government will not take all of them. And when you come to the international and national organization, there are also few. But it is we to be creative so that we are able to employ ourselves. I think this is very, very important, I would say. Veterinary Association is trying its level best, and I'm sure with this, if they continue with the work they are doing now, I would suggest that, or I would call upon all the members to support your organization. If you don't support your organization, then your organization will be poor. First of all, you support yourself, then other people will come and support you. I think it is very important. We cannot call on other members to support you when your people are not supporting you. So Gada, please, with these few remarks, you need to take these youth to you. And with these youth also, let them contribute to the association even though they are not working. If a person brings 500 pounds, it is a contribution, and it will help in strengthening the organization which you are now having. So the role of the Minister of Livestock and Fisheries is to control the diseases. That is why we say there is a need to strengthen the ministry with some vaccine and also with mobile clinic, which will be able to go for vaccination outside and even for treatment outside. And rabies is a zoonotic disease that transmitted from animal to humans, caused by the disease within the family of rabbit Vitieu. Domestic dogs are the most common reservoir of the virus, and with more than 99% of human deaths caused by dog-mediated diseases. And as we mentioned, there are so many additional also, the dogs, the cats, the donkeys, horses, mules, and monkeys. You know, one of my colleagues said the monkeys should be brought to the Minister of Livestock and Fisheries and become a domestic animal, because it is the one they feed on them. They eat them. So when they eat them, instead of being wild, then they will be in problem with the Minister of Wildlife. It is better to be domestic so that they can slaughter them without any. To create awareness to our people, because even most of the people, they don't know that cats and donkeys and horses and mules can carry the diseases. So when we create awareness, anybody with a mule, with a donkey, with anything, with the cat, they should be made to do what? To vaccinate their animals. Then we say, to effectively control rabies, dogs must be owned and cared for by the citizens. Globally, rabies is targeted for eradication by the 2030 across the African continent and the world at large. So what we need to do now, we must join hands to start vaccinating our animals, as mentioned, not tomorrow. So let me take this opportunity again to thank the organizers of this International World Rabies Day Celebration 2022, and to thank all our development partners and the donors agencies for their support for this occasion.